Straight ahead on CCX News, the state of the cities, including new restaurant options coming soon to Maple Grove, and the reason the mayor of Brooklyn Park is growing impatient. Plus, what qualities residents in the Osseo School District are looking for in a new superintendent. And we catch up with a New Hope resident and college student impacted by court battles over immigration. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. We begin with a new development in a Plymouth homicide case. Charges are now filed against a Plymouth man accusing him of stabbing and killing his brother at a Plymouth apartment complex late Monday night. According to the criminal complaint, 25-year-old Garrett Idle and his brother were having a fight about rent money. Both had been drinking before the confrontation escalated into violence. The medical examiner says 27-year-old Jamison Idle died from a stab wound to his chest. The mayors from Brooklyn Park, Osseo, Maple Grove, and Brooklyn Center described the state of their cities to the local business community today. And the one common theme with each city, new development. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Alex, one thing was certain at today's State of the Cities. More housing, more jobs, and more restaurants are on their way to the northwest suburbs. But one thing that's not certain, the status of the Blue Line Extension light rail project.
We are becoming impatient, and that we, as we watch Southwest continue to have challenges, we don't believe those challenges should continue to impact our line, which has been pretty drama-free, which maybe that's our problem. Given the politics in the Capitol, maybe a little drama would help us get our stuff done.
Well, light rail was just one of the many subjects touched on by Brooklyn Park Mayor Jeff Lundy at today's State of the Cities event organized by the North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce. During Maple Grove Mayor Mark Stephenson's presentation, he revealed a significant number of new restaurants coming to his city, including the much anticipated Portillo's.
For those that have been waiting for an extended period of time, Portillo's is opening in 12 days. I have to admit that it was one of the most critical and crucial issues that we've seen in the city in recent times. It sort of matches the level of Krispy Kreme and excitement, and we're sort of looking forward to the same type of issues involving the traffic.
Well, one other note about the light rail, Mayor Lundy said that Brooklyn Park plans to invite all of the viable candidates for governor to the city so they can examine the 610 corridor and see what can be accomplished when transit and development come together. Alex?
All right, Delane Cleveland reporting. Thanks very much. The chair of the Osseo School Board says choosing a new superintendent is the most important decision the school board will ever make.
It's a big operation. It's about a $300 million enterprise that we're really running here, and we're looking for somebody that has CEO-like qualities for the business end of things, but also has that touch of a teacher that you need to run an educational institution.
The first of 3 community input sessions was held on Wednesday night. Feedback will help a district-hired search firm set priorities in the superintendent search. Current Superintendent Kate McGuire is retiring at the end of the school year. Ahmed Kroma turned out as a parent and also a former student in the district.
And just hoping moving into the future that whoever they do decide to have is someone that's really good and willing to make District 279 bright and make it a good place to be for students and parents alike.
There are 2 more community meetings. The next one is Thursday, January 18th at Maple Grove Senior High. The district will interview candidates coming up in April. A New Hope resident is caught in limbo, one of nearly 700,000 young undocumented immigrants impacted by legal battles over DACA. President Trump wants to end the Obama-era program which provides work permits to those immigrants. But on Wednesday, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to restart the program, creating more uncertainty. Eric Nelson has more.
Hey, what's up?
Jocelyn Hernandez is very familiar with the northwest suburbs. She went to Cooper High and North Hennepin Community College.
I grew up in New Hope, and I've lived there all my life.
Hernandez was born in Mexico, but her parents came to snowy Minnesota when she was 10 months old.
Oti.
In so many ways, Hernandez is the quintessential American girl. but is caught up in the DACA drama because she was not born on U.S. soil.
It definitely is weird to kind of exist in the in-between.
Hernandez is one of 690,000 DACA dreamers who are currently stuck in limbo land.
The politics around DACA makes you feel really weird because you are not sure of your future, but you've built your entire future in this country.
If Hernandez eventually has to go back to Mexico, it would be culture shock.
It would not be an easy transition. I would have to learn how to live there. Yeah, it would be a huge disruption to my life, to the plan that I had for my future, to my schooling.
The future for Hernandez is anything but clear, and this emotional roller coaster has taken a toll.
It's very hard to still continue going to work every day and going to school and not knowing if I'm actually going to be here in this country.
In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Hernandez currently attends Augsburg College in Minneapolis. As Super Bowl 52 nears, Robbinsdale district students will be in the spotlight at the first major NFL event leading up to the actual game.
Everybody keep on hands all over the world. Join hands. Start a love train. Love train.
Love Train is one of two songs students at the Fair School Crystal and Northport Elementary School in Brooklyn Center picked to sing at the NFL Kids event at Braemar Field in Edina next week. Students will be part of the largest NFL Super Kids Super Sharing event yet. It gives students a chance to help underprivileged kids with school supplies and sports equipment and take part in Super Bowl festivities.
Anytime that we can give a kid the opportunity to be showcased, and it's really all about exposure. We know that when kids are exposed to different things in their life, then it changes their perspective on life.
Students from those two local schools will open and close the event on January 18th, and then they'll have the opportunity to play some games. Still ahead, we will take you inside one of the largest elementary schools in the Osseo School District. Plus, the Wayzata and Hopkins girls basketball teams get set for their big showdown on Friday. We'll have a preview later in sports. But first, the snow lingered longer than expected Thursday. Now it turns colder. Wind chills near -15 on Friday. Welcome back. In the Osseo School District, Fernbrook Elementary in Maple Grove is one of the larger schools. In this week's School Spotlight, Fernbrook's size is why building a sense of community is top priority. To understand the story of Fernbrook Elementary, it's important to know this is a big school.
With 850 students, people sometimes walk in and think, oh my gosh, it's such a big school. But we try and make it a small, connected, warm, caring family.
A big family with 850 pre-K through 5th graders who call this school home.
You can go to anyone here for support or for help.
And a head of household named Principal Tischer who insists joy and creativity should lead the way in learning, not test scores.
We know that children are more than just test scores. And so our focus has been on teaching the whole child and enriching their lives and pushing with creativity and getting them to do their very best work.
Okay. Creativity and critical thinking whirl together.
You can make it spin.
In the school's makerspace.
Every child has an opportunity to come in here at least once during the school year, during their recess time, and they get to explore and make choices, whether they like to build things, use technology, take apart some technology, play on the Lego wall, build a marble run. Pretty much sky's the limit.
It's just a really fun experiment for me.
4th grader Sophie Kalaji loves working on the circuit board. Troubleshooting skills required.
There's always mistakes in this, so we learn by our mistakes, and then we eventually, our goal is eventually finding out what we did wrong.
There's a joy of reading and learning on display in the school's media center, especially each year when the library is transformed into a book theme that comes to life.
This is a way to celebrate classic literature and kind of re-immerse our kids in classic literature and bring it to light. And when they walk in and they see the chocolate fountain from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the middle of the media center with large candy hanging from the ceiling, we just blow them away.
And remember the idea of family at this school? Every 2 years, teachers and staff dress up for a variety show that raises money for Fernbrook families in crisis.
We've had families who have experienced fire, families who have experienced a flood, families who have experienced homelessness. So there's just, each year it seems to be something different.
Thank you letters to the school's caring committee show how much the emergency funds are appreciated. We can now afford food on our table and Christmas for our children, says one note.
These kids know. They know what community service is.
Each spring, a community service project brings the whole school out to the Maple Grove High School track to walk for a cure. Since 2001, this school has raised a staggering amount for the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Our grand total is $152,000 and $44.28.
$152,000 in giving. There's no test score for that, but this school believes they're on the right track.
It's harder to measure compassion and kindness and caring for one another, but that's essential to developing human beings who are going to contribute to our community in the future.
The school also does cross-grade level activities so that students build connections and know the names of kids in different grades. Still ahead, something colorful and creative to take your mind off the cold. But first, the Maranatha Christian Academy girls basketball team is getting tested by teams from much bigger schools. John Jacobson is in next with sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. There's plenty of season to go for local girls basketball teams, but a Friday night matchup shapes up as one of the biggest regular season games in the state. Wayzata 15-0 and ranked second in Class 4A meets longtime nemesis Hopkins. The Royals are ranked number 3 and were number 1 until a holiday tournament loss to the current top-ranked team, Eastview. Hopkins has been very tough for Wayzata and all of the Lake Conference teams to beat for many years. But the Trojans say they're ready for the challenge.
You know, Shu's going to put together a really good game plan for us, and we're going to execute it as well as we can, and you know, do our best to just do the little things and see how that goes. And you know, they're a fun team, we're a fun team. I think it's going to be a great game.
You know, it's a good measuring stick. We really use it as a learning tool. What we did well, what we did poorly. You know, get a good chance to see Hopkins up close.
Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock Friday night at Wayzata. The teams meet again February 16th and could play a third time in the Section 6 tournament. One of Wayzata's 15 wins was a 9-point victory over one of the smaller schools in the area, Maranatha Christian Academy. Jay Wilcox has more on the Mustangs.
They haven't won them all, but all things considered, it's been a strong 7-3 start for the Maranatha Christian Academy girls basketball team. The coaches are asking for hard work, and they're getting it.
Every day they're taking a lot of joy in the process of getting better. So the amount of work we're doing each day is much higher than we've done in years past.
Yeah, for sure. We're always testing each other. Everyone's always trying to get higher up on the teams and stuff. There's for sure competition in practice.
The Mustangs have played a tough non-conference slate. Though they lost, they've stayed with the number 2 team in Class 4A, Wayzata, and the number 2 team in Class 3A, Holy Angels. Their 3 losses are to teams with a combined record of 36-5. Those games help a lot.
Oh, definitely a lot. We got to boost our confidence, so then when we play our conference teams, we just destroy them, and that'll just get our confidence up. So, and we did pretty good against Wayzata, so I think we'll do good.
I think it helps us a lot to be able to play a big school like that, and keeping up with them in the game was really fun for us, and it was important for us to be able to know that we can run with those types of teams.
After years of success in Class A, including state tournament appearances the past 8 seasons and 2 championships and 2 runner-up finishes, the Mustangs move up to Class 2A this season.
We've been in 1A the whole time, so going to 2A will be different just for sections, but I think we'll be ready, definitely.
You know, we haven't spent a whole lot of time thinking about it as much as just preparing for it. As soon as we heard that we were going up to 2A, we started scouting our section and putting in the work. So we're kind of, as coaches, doing the same thing we asked the kids to do.
They're also in one of the tougher sections in 2A. Just the next challenge for a good program at Maranatha. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Maranatha is ranked number 3 in the latest Class 2A poll. Mustangs host Heritage Christian Academy on Friday night. Well, what are the best uses for bobber systems during ice fishing season? Terry Tuma has some answers in this week's ice fishing tip.
So many ice anglers use bobber systems for fishing crappies and bluegills, which is fine under certain conditions, and of course also walleye. A bobber system should either be used for a dead stick hole, the second hole, or tough bite fish. When you're using a bobber, no matter what species it is, it's nothing more than a depth setter and a strike indicator. Therefore, you want to adjust the bobber. For instance, these here, you can just trim or cut to the desired length to create minimum drag resistance. A very, very important factor in being successful. If that fish feels any extra weight, something abnormal, it will reject that bait in less than a quarter second. That's something we have to understand. And then also too, taking your split shot, place it about 5 inches above the hook to anchor the bait. You do not want a pivot system if you're raising that split shot up so that minnow can swim in a larger circle. A bead and a colored hook adds color and of course bulk, as we all know. Generally speaking, you want to use a colored hook with an opposing bead color. Again, you're creating a little different water column appearance to that species of fish you're pursuing. This works for crappies, bluegills, jumbo perch, and walleyes. Generally, you want to use a 4mm bead for crappies and bluegills, a 5 for walleyes and jumbo perch. But it's a great tool to sort of step it up, if you will, and it can be very, very successful on the ice this winter.
Thanks, Terry. Live wrestling tonight on CCX as Hopkins hosts Wayzata. And then Friday night at 7, it's the annual Robbinsdale Rumble between Armstrong and Cooper. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Friday. Alex, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Up next, an upcoming show in Plymouth that may give you spring fever. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You wouldn't know it by looking outside, but spring really is not too far off. And when it comes, Plymouth's annual Primavera Art Show. This is video from a previous year, and as you can see, there is a lot to see. The event features works by area artists. It is the 23rd year of the popular event held at the Plymouth Creek Center. There's a wide range of art, from painting to sculpture to photography, and even live performances from area musicians and dancers.
It's a great way for everyone to come together, showcase what they've been working on. It's all new pieces that have not been submitted in past years, so that's kind of great as well to see what some of these returning artists have been working on.
Judges choose the art that appears in the show. The best works receive up to $250 in prize money. If you would like to enter, you can go to PlymouthArtsCouncil.org. The show is April 20th and the 21st. We'll see you back here on Friday.